Welcome back, guys. In the part two of chapter three, in our part one, we have discussed some of the points of this chapter. So let's see what we have already discussed in the part one. In the part one, we have discussed the meaning of elasticity of demand, and the second point, that was meaning of price elasticity of demand. We also have seen this formula. Then we have seen measurement of price elasticity of demand. In the measurement, there are two different methods: total outlay method. What is all about the total outlay method, and what is about the other method, that is percentage change method, that we already have discussed in our part one. And we have seen this formula also. After that, we were discussing about the types of price elasticity of demand. In the types of price elasticity of demand, we already have discussed perfectly elastic demand. Then we have already discussed about the perfectly inelastic demand, that will be elasticity is zero. Then our last point of the part one was unitary elastic demand. So what is unitary elastic demand? When there is equal change in the price and its demand of the product, then we can say it is a unitary elastic demand. In this lecture, we will start with our fourth type, that is inelastic demand. What is inelastic demand? Let's read. Demand is inelastic or elasticity is less than one. What is that? When a given percentage change in price of commodity brings about less proportionate change in demand for it. For example, 10% fall in price. Guys, you need to focus here that 10% fall in price of X might rise demand by only 2%. So there is a change in prices by 10%, but demand will be affected by only 2%. So in this case, we can say it is a case of inelastic demand, and we will get when we put such kind of number in the formula of percentage change method, we will get the answer that will be elasticity is less than 1. And we can also see the situation in the graph over here. On the x-axis we are given demand, and on the y-axis we are given price. So in this case, we will get less change in the demand compared to the change in the price. Now we will move further uh, and see we are left with the fourth point, that is elastic demand. What is elastic demand? When a given percentage change in price of a commodity causes more than proportionate change in demand, we have a case of elastic demand, that is elasticity is greater than 1. For example, prices fall by 2% but demand is raised by 10%. So in this case, the price is fall by 2% but demand is increased by, or we can say raises by 10%. So compared to price, demand is more elastic. So in this case, we can say it is an example of elastic demand, because the demand is very elastic to its price. When demand is when the price is changed by 2 or 3%, its demand will get more effect. So this kind of case is known as elastic demand, and we can also see this into the graph. Now we have completely discussed all 5 types of price elasticity of demand. Now we will move further to the next point, that is our next point is geometric method of measuring elasticity of price. So guys, we will see what is all about in the geometric method. The geometric method of measuring price elasticity of demand offers two concepts of price elasticity: point elasticity and arc elasticity. So here we will see what is point elasticity, what is arc elasticity. First, we will see point elasticity. Price elasticity of demand at different points on the same demand curve is not the same. It would therefore be incorrect to say, as we did, that the demand is elastic or inelastic with reference to the whole demand curve. The concept of elasticity refers to a particular point on demand curve rather than the entire demand curve. The point method of measuring elasticity of demand therefore attempts to measure numerical elasticity of demand at a particular point on the given demand curve. So guys, here we need to focus on a certain point of a different situation. We cannot say it is a whole demand curve, but whatever the situation is, there must be a certain point at which there will be the elasticity of the demand of the any product. in the figure 7, AB is a straight line demand curve. AB, so here we can see it is a demand curve of AB, that is we are given in this graph, and CD price, and we are given CD, that is price. C, this is the price and this is demand curve. CD, from C to D it is a price. Now demand is OD. Now the demand is OD. Okay, so this is the demand and the price is OG. So for demand OD, price is OG. So we will get this. When the demand, see, on the x-axis we are given demand and on the y-axis we are given price. So here in the graph we can clearly see that OD is the demand. For OD demand, the price is OG. So that we are given the point C. So point C is what? When the demand is OD, its price is OG. Now let's see. Uh, at CD, demand is OD. When the price falls to EF, when the price falls to EF, okay, so before that price was CD, but now price falls. When now price falls and price comes to E, then demand raises to OF. Now demand raises from D to F. So demand is raises. When the price decreases, demand raises. We attempt to find the elasticity of demand at C. Now elasticity of demand at C, for the sake of simplicity, we assume that point C and point E are very close to each other. Point C and E are close to each other. By this simplifying assumption, we can treat the elasticity at C to be same as that at E. Now, the elasticity of price at C and the elasticity of price at E both are equal in the sense as explained in the point elasticity of demand. Now guys, we are given elasticity of demand at C. What is elasticity of demand at C? We are given the formula over here. You know the formula very well, that proportionate change in demand divided by proportionate change in price. So we are aware with this formula. We can also say that change in demand divided by original demand plus change in price divided by original price. And here we are given in a symbolic form. So we will move further, transferring the denominators, and by simplifying this we will get IE divided by CI multiply by CD divided by OD. DF is IE. Now consider the small CIE and big CBD. They are similar triangles as their corresponding angles are equal. Therefore, now what is IE, what is CI? You need to focus on this graph given here. Then and then you can understand that what is IE, what is CI, and by using these symbols you will get the perfect price elasticity of demand. And now consider the small CIE and big CDB, they are similar triangles as their corresponding angles are equal. Therefore, I divided by CI dB divided by CD, ratio of corresponding sides of similar triangles. Substituting A divided by CI by dBCI by CD in equation above, we get elasticity of demand is equal to dB divided by CD and CD divided by OD. CD is cancelled because here we have denominator as CD and as we have seen as above, so it will be cancelled, and BD divided by OD, DB divided by GC, OD and GC, OD is equal to GC. So guys, you will might get confused that what is this all about. On you just need to focus on this formula, and you just need to put the value according to the formula from this graph. Then and then you will get by putting formula in this graph, by putting the symbols in this formula, you will get such kind of solution. So no need to be confused about this. You just need to simply put the values given in the graph in the given formula, and you will come over here by solving the whole formula. So this is what all about the point elasticity. And now we will move further to the next point. So here we are given the another figure, that is On the x-axis we are given demand, on the y-axis we are given price, and here we have the demand curve, and we also have some of the explanation. This is demand curve, this is point C, as we have considered C as a price elasticity of demand. So you will get the discussion over here. We find that price elasticity demand at C is equal to the distance from C and the axis of X lower segment divided by the distance from C to the axis of Y upper segment, as measured on the demand curve AB. So guys, this explanation says that from point C, the portion of this, and from point C, the portion of this, both are same, and the distance of this and distance of this will also be the same. So guys, here what is all about the explanation given in the point elasticity. Now we will move further. Thus, we can measure price elasticity of demand at a particular point on the demand curve if the demand curve is not a straight line but a uh, curve line as shown in figure 8. Elasticity can be measured by drawing a tangent at a given point and then applying the formula stated below. So guys, again we need to apply this formula given here in the book, and when the demand curve is not straight, we just need to draw the line at a single point which intersect here, and we just need to symbolize this, and we need to assure that the portion from point C to here and portion from point C to upper part will also be the same. Now guys, we will see here by making use of the formula of measuring price elasticity at a particular point on the demand curve, we can work on the numerical values of price elasticity. Look in the figure 9. So now we need to focus on the figure 9 given here below in the page. We will see, suppose C is a midpoint of AB, that is 4 centimeters. So C is the midpoint of AB and it is 4 centimeter. D and E are midpoint of AC and CD respectively. So AC and CB, D and E are the midpoint of AC and CB respectively. So we need to focus here that uh, D, E and D and E are midpoint of AC and CB. Okay, so for AC, D is midpoint, and for CB, E is midpoint. Now we will see what are the values of price elasticity at point A, D, C, E, and B on the demand curve AB. So you will be not asked any this kind of sum in your exam, but we need to understand this point very briefly. So elasticity of demand at C is equal to CB by AC. Now you need to understand that what is CB. We will see CB by AC because C is a midpoint. So it divided in 2. We will see that CB is equal to 2, and as we know that it is AB is 4 centimeter, right? So AB is 4 centimeter and C is a midpoint. Then this will be 2 centimeter and this will be 2 centimeter and the whole is 4 centimeter. So we will get 2 by 2 because CB is 2, AC is 2 because here the C is midpoint. So we will get 1. Elasticity at D will be CD is 3 and AD is 1. Now how do we get 3? Then DB, we need to see how the DB is 3. So we know that AC is 2 and DB. So we need to focus on DB. So CB is 2 plus this is 1 and this is 1 because this is midpoint. So from AC, D is a midpoint. So this will be the 1 and this will be the 1. So CD will be 3. Now guys, being a student of Bcom first year, you can clearly understand what is this all about and how 3 is being here and how 4 is being here and what about the different point and what about the different elasticity. But in the point elasticity, you can clearly understand that how the value is arrived and how can we get the elasticity at certain point. Then for point D, what will be the elasticity? Then we can say it is 3 by 1 and the elasticity will be 3, so it is greater than 1. So here we can easily calculate the point elasticity in the given graph, and the point is quite easy to understand. One can easily see that as one moves from the middle point C upward on the demand curve, the price elasticity goes in increasing till the last it becomes undefined at point A. Similarly, as one moves downward from the middle point C on the demand curve, the price elasticity decreases at lastly becomes zero at point B. It is also clear that elasticity of demand at different point in the same demand curve does not remain constant. There are three exemptions to this rule. If demand curve is a horizontal straight line or a vertical straight line or rectangular hyperbola, all the points on each demand curve show the same price elasticity of demand. And guys, this is a straight line horizontally, this is a straight line vertically, and this is a line of hyperbola. So in this case, these are the assumption of exceptions of the point elasticity of demand. So in this kind of case, the point elasticity of demand does not works. For that, we need to have such kind of lines. We cannot calculate the point elasticity if we have a horizontal straight line or a vertical straight line or we have hyperbola line. For that, to count a point elasticity of demand, you need to have a line like this. So this is what the exceptions of the point elasticity of demand. Now the second point we are given here, that the price elasticity of demand may be same although the slopes of the two demand curves are different. So here the slope of the demand curves are different. So here you can say from AB and AC, these are two different demand curves and the slope of the demand curves are different, although the price elasticity of both the curves will be the same. Here you can clearly see that from DE to EF, both the we can say the price elasticity of, though the slopes of the demand curve are different, price elasticity will be the same. So you also need to focus on this point, and you also need to understand that what is all going through, and you just need not to be confused about anything given over here. This is a common explanation. You just need to understand very calmly. In the figure 13, so now we are given figure 13. Figure 13 is above. This is figure 13. EB divided by EA. Now what is EB? Let's see. EB divided by EA. EB divided by EA is equal to DO divided by DA. Now what is DO? Okay, so DO divided by DA. So here this curve is divided by this curve. And similarly AOC, FC divided by FA and DO divided by. So the similar formula will be applied in this and this curve. So EB divided by EA is equal to FC divided by FA. Elasticity at E is equal to elasticity at F. Both will be the same. So we can clearly say that no matter the curve of demand curve will be different, or we can say the slope of demand curve will be different, but in the different curve, the elasticity of demand will be the same. Now we will see the next one, that is we can compare the price elasticities of demand at 2 points on the separate demand curve which are parallel to each other. Consider figure 14 and 15. In the figure 14 and the figure 15, AB and CD are separate demand curves which are parallel to each other. So here AB and CD, here also AB and CD, both are different demand curves and both are parallel to each other. Parallel means both are in the same distance. So we will see over here in the figure 14, suppose FB is greater than AF. We will see what is FB. FB is greater than AF, then it must be ED is greater than CE, because both are parallel. So guys, you need to understand that when FB is greater than AF, when FB is greater than AF, ED is greater than CE. So it is easy to understand that when FB is greater than F, then the elasticity of demand at F is equal to FB divided by FA. Elasticity is greater than 1, but elasticity at point E is ED divided by EC, so elasticity will greater than 1. So you just need to read it very calmly. You just need to read the whole formula. You just need to read and try to understand that what is this all about, the point elasticity, and you just need to be prepared about this. Now in the figure 15, FB is equal to GD. So in the figure 15, FB is equal to GD. FB is equal to GD means the distance of this and distance of this are equal. So it is very common that distance of this and distance of this will also be the same. But GC is greater than FA. GC GC is greater than FA. See guys, here both these things are common, but this is greater than this. So in such kind of case, therefore, elasticity at G is less than elasticity of at F. Elasticity is G is less than, because the distance of this is greater than distance of this. So when the distance is greater, elasticity will be more here and less here. So thus we conclude that point method of measuring price elasticity is useful in finding out numerical values of elasticity and comparing price elasticity at different point on the same or different demand curves. Now guys, we have discussed the point elasticity, and the point is quite complicated but not much difficult to understand. You just need to read whole concept very clearly, and though if you are not quite to feel comfortable in this point, then you can ask me. I will explain this point, and I will make a video of point elasticity differently to explain it in a very brief manner. Now we will discuss arc elasticity. What is arc elasticity? There are two measures of price elasticity of demand: point elasticity of demand and arc elasticity of demand. While point elasticity refers to elasticity of demand at a defined point on a given demand curve, arc elasticity refers to average elasticity between 2 points on a given demand curve. In the words of Baumol, arc elasticity uh, is measure of the average responsiveness to price change exhibited by a demand curve over some finite stretch of the curve. Arc elasticity is called because any 2 point on a demand curve make an arc. So when 2 point make an arc, it is called as arc elasticity. So here in this demand curve, we can say there are 2 point, point A and point B, and F is it is created arc, and F is a price elasticity of demand. So let's understand it one by one. The point given over here, that for example in figure 16 given below, the area between A and B on the demand curve DD is an arc. So here we are given the demand curve DD, and area between A and B, it is a space of, we can say it is a space that is formed like an arc. The formula to be used to measure the arc elasticity of demand is as follows. So here quantity 1 minus quantity 2, here we are given quantity 1 and here we are given quantity 2. So this is the formula that you need to remember for your exam. Quantity 1 minus quantity 2 and quantity 1 plus quantity 2, divide by price 1 minus price 2 and price 1 plus price 2. So guys, by using this formula, where Q1 and Q2 are two quantities of the two prices P1 and P2 respectively. So here we just need to focus on that. Here we are given quantity 1, that is 2, and price 1, that is 6, and we are given quantity 2 is 6, and for price 2, that is 2. So we are given it respectively. Suppose at a point A on above demand curve, 2 unit of the commodity are demanded at the price of 6. So at the price of 6, 2 unit of quantity is demanded, and at price 2, 6 unit is demanded. What will happen? And in point B, 6 units are demanded at the price of rupees 2 per unit. Then using the above formula, we have arc elasticity. If we have such kind of scenario, then by using this formula we can find arc elasticity. Now how will we find arc elasticity? Then let's see. As we know that quantity 1 minus quantity 2 divided by price 1 minus price 2, quantity 1 plus quantity 2 divided by price 1 plus price 2. So let's see, here we are given that quantity 1 minus quantity 2 divided by quantity 1 plus quantity 2, and according to the price also. So by simplifying this formula, we will get 1 by 4, in which simple words means that, so here we are given change in quantity divided by quantity 1 plus quantity 2 divided by change in price divided by price 1 price 2, which in simple words means that arc elasticity is equal to. So guys, here we are given the formula of arc elasticity. You just need to focus on in this is the same formula in the symbolic form, and we also have the formula in words, that is arc elasticity is equal to differentiate in quantity, that is delta q, divided by sum of q, that is quantity 1 plus quantity 2, that is sum of q, divided by difference in price, that is delta price, divided by sum of price. So it follows that the arc elasticity, in fact the elasticity of the midpoint between point A and point B and on the demand curve DD. Therefore, if there is no difference between the 2 point and they merge into each other, arc elasticity become point elasticity. Generally, however, 2 points on the demand curves are quite apart because demand curves are seldom continuous. Hence, in such cases, price elasticity of demand is different on toe point of the demand curve depending on how we calculate. If for instance, if we move from A to B, the formula of point elasticity of demand that will be, so here we are given the formula of point elasticity, quantity divided by quantity, price by price. So here this is the before and this is the after case, give the value, we will get 3. But if we move from B to A, the same formula will give us 1 by 3. In order to avoid this discrepancy, an average of the two values is calculated on the basis of arc elasticity. So guys, here we have seen the point elasticity and the arc elasticity. The arc elasticity is quite easy to understand. There is no much confusion in it. You just need to remember the formula. You just need to see over here. You just need to find that what is quantity 1, what is quantity 2, divide by what is quantity 1, what is quantity 2. Here we need to just minus what is and what that we have, we just need to add into the quantity 1 from quantity 2, and we just need to divide, and we also need to do the same things for price. So by putting the values given in the graph, we will get the answer of arc elasticity. So the concept of arc elasticity is quite easy compared to the concept of point elasticity, but you need to understand it very clearly. Now guys, we will move further to the next point, that is where is it, we will see. Okay, point number 6, factor affecting price elasticity. Very very important point. What are the factors that affect price elasticity of demand? Let's see. Price elasticity of demand is relative. A change in demand for a given commodity in response to a change in its price may differ from person to person. Therefore, it is not possible to say exactly whether the demand for a commodity elastic or inelastic, but some general indications can be given. In other words, we can say in general terms whether elasticity of demand for a commodity is more than unity or less unitary. So we will focus only on the factors that affect to the price elasticity of demand. But guys, you need to understand the concept of price elasticity of demand, that as you know that what is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand means when there is a percentage change in the price will give the percentage change in its the demand of the product. So here how the price affect the demand, and when the price rises demand falls, when the price falls demand rises. So you need to understand that what are different factors that affects the price elasticity of demand. The major determinants of price elasticity of demands are possibility of substitution, second is nature of product, third is importance of commodity in consumers budget, and the fourth is time interval. Now what is possibility of substitution? Substitution means what? Means suppose I am using tea. I drink tea every day, every morning, and when the price of tea will increases or rises, I will substitute my product. I will change my product from tea to coffee, and now I will not buy tea anymore. So guys, when the possibility of substitution is high, then we will see the price elasticity of demand. But when there is no substitution of the product, then if I do not have any other alternative, and I am habituated, I am used to drink tea, and I do not have any other alternative, then when the price increases, the price rises, I still need to drink tea. So there will not be any change in its demand. So when there is a possibility of substitution, we can easily see the price elasticity of demand. But when there is no other alternative, then there will be less effect in the elasticity of demand. So guys, we will see possibility of substitution. What is possibility of substitution? The greater the number of substitutes in the market, the more elastic will be the demand for the commodity concern, as I have already said. Because I do have other option. When the price of tea increases, I do have other option like coffee. Okay, so when the price of tea increases, I will start drinking coffee. I will stop drinking tea because price of tea is increased. But if I do not have any other alternative, then whether price is increased or by whether price falls down, I need to drink tea because I am used to drink tea. So when the possibility of substitutions is high, there will be the elasticity of demand, right? But when there is no substitution, there will be no elasticity. Price elasticity means what? When price rises, demand decreases. When price falls down, demand rises. But when there is no substitution, then whether price rises or fall down, demand will be constant. So guys, the greater the number of substitutes in the market, the more elastic will be the demand for the commodity concern. For example, there are so many brands of toothpaste in the market. If the price of any one brand, say for Colgate, when the price of Colgate is raised even slightly, many of its buyers will be tempted to shift to the its substitutes, and therefore demand for Colgate toothpaste will contrast substantially. On the other hand, if the price of Colgate is reduced slightly, many buyers will switch over from other brands to Colgate, and hence demand of Colgate will expand considerably. Obviously, demand for Colgate will not be uh, so much sensitive if substitutes are not existed and only Colgate is available in the market. People will have to continue purchasing it even when its price is raised. So guys, as we know that we do have many options for the toothpaste. We do have Colgate, we do have Pepsodent, we do have Patanjali, we do have Dabur, we do have many other toothpaste brand are available in the market. So when the price of any one brand is increased, people will switch over to other brands. But when there is no other brands available, only one brand, that is Colgate, is available in the market, then we do not have any other option. Even though the price is increased of the Colgate, we need to brush our teeth every day. So when there is high substitution, the elasticity is more. But when there is no substitution, elasticity, there will be no elasticity of the demand of the price, sorry, of the product. The second is nature of the product. Price elasticity of demand depends on some extent also on the nature of the product. The main issue concerning the nature of the product are as follows: what kind of product it is, necessities and conventional necessity. Demand for such commodity is largely fixed or its changes less proportionate to change in price. Thus, we find demand for food is generally inelastic because it must be consumed in a defined quantity even if its price is high. So if we take an example of wheat, if we take an example of food, we need food every day to survive, right? Everyone need to have food to survive. So when the price of food is increased or fall down, we need to consume required food every day to survive, right? So we can say the nature of product. So if we talk about food, then the we can say the price of food, or we can say the demand of food will be less elastic compared to its price. Now luxurious. By contrast, the demand for luxurious, likewise washing machine, television, refrigerator, etc., is highly elastic. A slight rise in price may induce more than proportional fall in demand because people can do without luxuries if they cannot afford them. It may be noted that luxury is a relative term and we cannot therefore generalize. What may be luxury for one may be necessary for other. For example, very costly saris are a luxuries for a household woman, but unnecessary for a field actress. So, guys, we also need to focus on the nature of product. In the nature of product, the one is food. If we talk about food, then the demand of food is very less elastic because whether price increase, whether price fall down, people need to consume food to survive, right? So they need to consume food every day. But if we talk about luxurious thing, then it will also give on we can say the factor affecting the price elasticity of demand, because when the price of luxurious things changes, it is highly elastic compared to the other product. But we also need to focus on that a car is luxurious things for a poor people, but for rich people car is not considered as luxurious thing. So for someone it is luxurious thing, but for other it is a common thing. So we can clearly see that by contrast the demand for luxurious like washing machine, television, is highly elastic. When the price is decreased in such kind of product, people will buy more of it. A slight rise in price may induce more than proportionate fall in demand because people can do without luxuries if they cannot afford them. Some of the people might afford some things, then they are quite highly elastic with the price. They will be highly reliable on the price, because if I cannot afford a television, but when the price of television will fall down in the market, then I will go to the market and buy a television for me. So for me it is highly elastic. But for other person who is rich quite, and who has no such desire to buy a TV for him, they will not be dependent on the prices of the product. And for them, the elasticity of demand of the product will not be considered for a TV. It may be noted that luxury is a relative term and we cannot therefore generalize. What may be luxury for one may be necessary for other. For example, very costly sarees are a luxury for a household woman, but a necessary for female actress. So guys, luxurious things also affect the price elasticity of demand. And the third point that we are given is goods with several uses. If a particular commodity or service has many uses, demand for it tends to be elastic. Take a case of coal or electricity. Electricity can be used for light, cooking, ironing, and many other domestic and industrial purposes. A fall in price will increase demand for such goods for hitherto neglected purposes. Hence, demand for such goods is highly elastic. So, guys, electricity can be used. Uh, Electricity is the thing which has several uses, and when we can say the price of electricity is decreases, then people will use more of it. People and but when the price of electricity is raises, then people will stop using air conditioner. People will stop using washing machine, because when they will get more light bill, then they will be quite very sad about the usage of the electricity. So they are quite sensible, or quite more sensitive about the electricity. So anything which has several uses are the things which have highly elastic demand. So guys, that's it for today in this lecture. From the part 3 we will discuss from durable goods, and in our this lecture we have discussed some of the points which are quite important. And in the lecture I will again say that point elasticity is quite important, and you need to read it out again and again until and unless you understand the point very deeply. And in this lecture we also have discussed the types of price elasticity of demand. So guys, that's it for today in this lecture, and we will come with the part 3 of this chapter very soon. Meanwhile, you need to revise these two lecture one by one. Okay guys, that's it for today. Goodbye, good night.